here, this is the replace segment. You specify the command, then you specify patterns to search, pattern to search, and pattern to replace the search with, and then you can pass it in some additional arguments. But what we want to know now is these first three characters. What do they represent? If you remember from the previous tutorials, I have mentioned, or I do believe that I have mentioned, that the dollar sign represents the end. It will go to the last line, pretty much. Your cursor, if you type it in if you type it into the command console of VIM, it will, the dollar sign, the cursor will go to the last line immediately. And what is here? So this is just line 1, meaning go from line 1 to the last line, and in between I want you to search a pattern and then replace that pattern with another one. Let's go ahead and take a look at the file. Let me show you what I mean by this. Notice how I have the numbers here. It's quite simple. Just type in SE and U. Well, and you know. Sorry. Oops. SE, no, and U. They will disappear. And if I type in, if I type in SE and U, they will reappear. Excellent. So this will number the lines within a file, and then we will be able to get a better view of things. If I type in 1, 10, this is a range that encompasses the entire file. However, I can also type in 1, dollar sign, which is exactly the same thing. It encompasses the entire file as well. But you don't want to always go to the last line and see which the last line is, and if you type in 10 and the file changes in size, the lines beyond 10 will not be taken into consideration. To write the dollar sign at the end is a far more dynamic way of grabbing the entire file, of saying basically that the entire file is a scope, but 1 to, and the last dollar sign is also equivalent to a percentage sign. But I think yep, there we go. You can also type in percentage sign instead of 1 to dollar, as that would definitely say pretty much the entire file. However, we will deal with these signs a bit later on, with more of them, I would say, as we move on into more complex commands. For the time being, I just want to show you the range and how you would specify the range, how would you use it, and how would you utilize it with some other things. So let us type in 1, dollar sign, not space, S slash. And now we shall select the pattern to search. I have already marked the is pattern, and I will type in IS. Excellent. So IS and then another slash. Within the first slash, you specify the pattern that you want to replace, and within the second slash, you will specify what do you want to replace it with. So I don't know. Let's type in. What shall I type in here? What do I have on my desk? I have my phone. So let's type in phone. At the last slash, after the last slash, you can actually pass in some additional options or arguments if you like. One of those, there are two things that I shall teach you how to do today, which is global and ignore case, which are probably the two most important ones. But if I just press enter here, it says 5 substitutions on 5 lines. Does anybody see a problem here? Take a look at the 6th line. It says building, and then where it says phone, there should be is, but we have replaced is with phone, so it's okay that it stands to reason that we have phone now. But on the same line, the second is pattern has not been replaced with phone. What is the deal with this? What is the problem? Well, if you give the basic form of the command, it will only grab the very first pattern in the line, and immediately after it does that, it's going to move on onto the next line. It will not care for the rest of the line. In order to avoid problems such as these, you can use up and down arrows to list through the previous commands here, just so you know. After the last slash, you can type in G, which is global. Substitute all patterns is with phone. Press enter, and there we go. All of the patterns now have indeed been substituted. But again, does anybody see another problem with this? Look at here. You have is, but is written with a capital I. And the way we issue the command, this is not a corresponding pattern. This is something completely different to the computer, and it does not care. However, we can tell it, I want you to ignore cases. Ignore cases completely. So just pass the letter I and press enter. You can pass in multiple arguments after phone, after the last slash, and there you go. Now the letters here, which were capital letters, have indeed been replaced with the word phone as well. Fairly simple and a useful command to use. Easy to get around, no problems. Just keep on, press escape. Oops, am I in the file? Let's press undo, 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 undo. There you go. We're already at oldest change. So I have once again reverted back to the natural state of the file, so to call it, the one that I have originally envisioned. Here, I'm going to cut the tutorial. I bid you all farewell. I wish you a ton of luck, and we shall see each other hopefully in the follow-up tutorial. Welcome back, everybody. Today I just want to give you 3 more commands, or 4 more commands to be more precise, before we actually call it a day and move on to the next subject. However, before we get into VI, let me just show you something else. Over here in this terminal, notice how I have used the cat command to pull certain lines from my VIM file. I have typed in the argument that I have passed the argument -n to the cat command, meaning that it should number all the lines. Then I have piped the output of grep, and I have created the I have piped the output of cat, and I have created the input for grep. And with grep, I have specified numbers, so 4, 5, and 6. Those were the numbers that I wanted to pull out of the file, meaning I want to pull the lines 4, 5, and 6. However, if any other line, for any other reason, anywhere within the line contained any of these numbers, that line would have been pulled as well. There is a better way of doing this. There is another command aside from grep. It's called egrep, more advanced version of grep. Take a look at man egrep and see what you can find there. There are some pretty interesting things. Here's how you would pull multiple patterns with egrep. So you would just type in pattern 1, pattern 2, and pattern 3, or 4, 5, 6. You can specify as many patterns as you like here, and then you could pull it. You could pull it out of the file. So let me go ahead and type in 6 here, and 4 here, and 5 here. Excellent. So some of you might think, oh well, you didn't put them in the right order or something of a kind. The order is irrelevant. You can put it any way you like, it's still going to pull exactly the same lines in exactly the same way. Anyway, let's go ahead and go over the first command that I have listed here. It says delete a scope of lines. So there are no parameters here. This will just delete any given scope of lines. Let's go ahead and open my other terminal. Press escape to enter command mode. Go ahead and press semicolon to prompt you to get a command prompt. Type in the range of lines, the scope of lines. So let's type in 4 to 6. We can use that one. We could have typed in anything else. We could have typed in 1 to 8 and then deleted or whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and say, I don't know, 6 to 8, even though 8 is practically blank. It's a space. It's a new line. Let's go ahead and type in 6, 9, delete. There you go. They have been deleted. And you still see number 6 line here, right? Even though I have deleted it. No, it's not the same line that we deleted. The lines have been deleted. Of that I assure you. You can rewind it.